SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Toyota of Brookhaven has been voted best new car dealership in Southwest Mississippi 4 years in a row. Come see the difference. Exit 40 Brookhaven or online at toyotabrookhaven.com. Great service, great savings. At Toyota of Brookhaven, we deliver.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Woo! Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive. But now I'm a man, way past 21.
Middle of the week. It is Wednesday morning. This is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. What a way to start the day. Radio on, cup of coffee in hand, maybe working on a biscuit or a piece of toast, got some eggs, smell that bacon. With the dulcet tones of Lance Tolbert in the background. Good morning, Lance.
Good morning. Yeah, I got the apple juice in. I didn't get any of the other stuff, but
apple
I did.
Juice.
But I did. Yeah, I love my 100% apple juice in the morning, and that or grapefruit juice. But I did kind of splurge this morning. I had to stop at the gas station, and I got a.
Did you get one of those little glass bottles?
No. I bought actually a croissant with bacon on it, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, so,
okay.
Yeah, so I normally don't eat breakfast very often, but they were so fresh looking, and these croissants are huge. They're about as big as a Frisbee, so I was like, can't pass it up this morning.
I can't go without breakfast. I mean, I guess I could, but I don't like how that makes me feel. Need that boost right now. And I've been doing so much better. Like, I have been eating better, got into a little bit of a workout routine, and this week has been super busy. Have not been to the gym at all. So, there you go. Proud of that.
Do you do like one of those 24/7 gyms so you can make it in at like midnight if you need to, or is this more of a standard?
I probably should. It's one that's got like group classes.
Right.
All my shed friends. There are a bunch of them. I've got a bunch of buddies that go and they like kind of hold each other accountable. They go at 6 every morning. I can't go at 6.
Yeah, you're a little busy at 6.
A little busy at that time, and so the whole noon class tends to it just kind of chops up the day. But got to get back into that. But I've been eating breakfast better too. I had been getting up and fixing myself eggs and a couple of pieces of sausage and a couple of pieces of wheat toast. And it's like, hey, that'll stick with you. Man, smooth fell off the wagon this morning with 2 brown sugar and cinnamon Pop-Tarts and a sausage, egg, and cheese croissant from our good friends at Jimmy Dean in the microwave.
Seems like the brown sugar Pop-Tart may be the most popular these days. I'm still this frosted strawberry fan. I don't know.
No, I'm not against those. I'm a pretty equal opportunity Pop-Tart eater.
Yeah. Those are the two I'll dig the most, though. And there one with like fudge in it, though. If I remember, it's the chocolate iced one with like some kind of fudge. Haven't had that one in a while, but yeah, I could eat the whole box of those like one time.
They're pretty good. The s'mores one?
Yeah, I think that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, I try not to see those when I go through the...
I understand.
I just put the blinders on like a racehorse.
The C Spire text line is wide open and waiting for you this morning. Your team has you covered on the field. C Spire has you covered everywhere else with the best technology for homework and on the go, backed by local 24/7 customer support. Learn more at cspire.com. C Spire, inspired by you. You can also communicate on X. I have told you that I am efforting a more consistent presence on that particular social media platform. Put a poll question out there for you last night. Did you see that, Lance? Did you notice that I put a poll question out?
I didn't. What'd you get?
Let me read it specifically so I get it
following
exact.
your Twitter directly instead of partially. If you're going to be, so I'm going to have to be more active on your Twitter now that I know you're or your X.
Well, especially if it's like we're doing this. Simple question, yes or no question, poll question. Would you support Mississippi seeking a waiver from the federal government to ban SNAP purchases of sugary drinks, candy, and other junk foods.
I did see that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was yours. Okay.
Yeah. About 12 hours up so far. Yeah. 88% of you say yes.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty resounding.
Pretty resounding. As I anticipated. C-Spire text line, Richard, my buddy at work, told me to put butter on brown sugar Pop-Tarts. Tried it, changed my life this morning.
I've heard better for you, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. Add the butter on top of the frosted brown sugar and warm it up.
You're never going to do wrong with adding butter to anything and warming it up. So,
Rich in Biloxi, I like just about any Pop-Tart or faux Pop-Tart.
Which one is that? Is that like
when we say a faux Pop-Tart, are we just talking about off-brand?
Yeah, I think that's what he's referring to, like a Premier brand or something.
When I was growing up, they put real cinnamon on the Pop-Tarts instead of icing. Okay? Very heavy fog on Jasper-Clark County line this morning, according to Mark. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Be careful out there. Frosted strawberry were the best. 55-year-old and health requirements changed. Ban all non-healthy choices for SNAP benefits. Did this on school lunches. Makes the parents eat healthier, too. CC in Senatobia just ordered $70 worth of Pop-Tarts online.
There you go. You get the bulk order.
Those are
probably
frosted.
400 of them.
Lance, I've never seen those before. Frosted banana bread Pop-Tarts.
96 of them, too.
Yeah.
I hope you like them.
That'll keep you going for
I think you should have put like a question out. I mean, should you be able to use your SNAP benefits to gamble on crypto? Now, I'm curious what the return would be on that one.
I mean, is it even a gamble at this point?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm curious what everybody would think.
Yeah.
Not on the sweet stuff, but if you could make money.
All right, let's see here. Today, across the state, your forecast, Potts Camp. You've got partly cloudy skies, high around 90, winds light and variable. Laurel, intervals of clouds and sunshine this morning, more clouds later in the day. Stray shower or thunderstorm possible for you. Checking in at 91 degrees this afternoon. Port Gibson, going to be 92 in the warmest part of the day. Sunny, few afternoon clouds, winds light and variable. Gaucher, partly cloudy skies today with a stray shower or thunderstorm possible. How about a high of just 88 in Gaucher?
It's nice up here yesterday. I mean, when I got out of here, it was like 88 degrees.
Yeah.
High skies. Wasn't any kind of humidity. Wonderful day.
One of our esteemed representatives here in the state of Mississippi has sent me a picture of his house, which has been rolled with toilet paper.
Uh-oh.
And he says, I guess this is at the start of a new year.
Yeah. Christenings.
Junior, senior wars going on, and if I need a workout, I can come clean up toilet paper in his yard.
Hey, well, Rocky and Marks comes off the top rope. Hey, this is how I roll. The toaster strudel with the icing pack.
And a lot of toaster strudel fans out there.
Yeah, I love the toaster. That was kind of my favorite because you could steal the packs. And then when like your sister would go get the toaster strudel, there wouldn't be any more icing because you like use 3 of them on one toaster strudel. It's always a good little trick to play.
The great Lucille Ball was born on this day in 1911. Legendary comedian, TV pioneer, best known for I Love Lucy. She was the first woman to run a major television studio. I don't know is not an appropriate answer for this question, Lance. What was your favorite I Love Lucy episode?
You got me on that one, man. I really don't. I don't know. I mean, I didn't watch it that much, but there was.
Turn his mic off. Good grief.
I mean, I liked it all right. It wasn't my favorite. I don't have like a one that stands out the most,
No Vita Vita. Vegemite for you?
I know that's the one that Paul and I talk about, the Vegemite, the Veggie deal, but I just never saw it, so I don't really remember it. I would be speaking over my experience there. So, yeah, I'm not a huge, I don't know if I could say, I'm not saying I'm not a fan. I just didn't watch it that much.
Yeah. I Love Lucy was not part of your childhood.
No. It was a little
Mitchum was born on this day in 1917, the iconic silver screen presence in Cape Fear and The Night of the Hunter. Andy Warhol, born on this day in 1928, the pop art legend whose Campbell's Soup and celebrity silk screens revolutionized visual culture, so it says.
Yeah.
NBA Hall of Famer David Robinson, the Admiral, born on this day in 1965, multiple championships, Olympic gold medals. Man, he was a good one. Nickname, you know why he was named the Admiral?
Navy man, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Went to the
Played
academy.
college basketball at the Naval Academy.
Grew 2 feet when he got there, I think. He wanted to be a submarine man, but they said, nope, can't do that.
Sorry, you're not going to fit in here, friend.
Hey, don't sleep on The Ambassador with Robert Mitchum. Excellent movie.
Yeah. Feels like this guy pretty important to, I don't know, society as a whole. Alexander Fleming, born on this day in 1881, discovered penicillin, revolutionizing modern medicine. Now, would RFK have defunded that, or is he good to go on that?
I think he's all right on penicillin.
Okay, good to go on that. We're back with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass Traffic Center.
Wake up, get up, and start your day right with Mornings with Richard Cross here on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Travel my head sound of town. No local yokel gonna shut me down. 'Cause me and my boys got this rig unwound, and we come 1,000 miles from a guitar case.
Folks are up and at 'em this morning. C-Spire text line is popping. 601-879-4395. CC in Senatobia says the best one was one where Ricky said to Lucy, you got some splaining to do. The Lucy and Ethel chocolate conveyor belt scene, says Rich in Biloxi. We gave you the forecast for Gaucher a bit. Aaron in Gulfport says, hey, speaking of Gaucher, did you see the 9-foot alligator that was found outside the elementary school yesterday? Hey. The Gaucher Gators, literally.
They're getting ready for football season.
Mm-hmm. Amanda in Pike County sends us a recipe for a homemade Pop-Tart.
Ooh. My mom made things called tarts, but they weren't like crispy per se. They were, a little doughy, and then she'd, kind of fry or bake them. They were excellent, but they're
Yeah, and then one more. Toastums are my favorite. Toaster pastry, $2 a box at the little grocery store I go to in Ridgeland. Yes, Toastum pop-ups are older than Pop-Tarts. Post introduced the original toaster pastry, Country Square.
Country Squares was not a very good seller.
1964.
Yeah, the Country Square was not a great seller. But the Pop-Tart took the cake. Or the tart, so to speak.
Very good, so to speak. 1890, future Hall of Fame pitcher Cy Young made his MLB debut, and it was, pretty darn good. Threw a 3-hitter for the Cleveland Spiders. See, that's even a better name than the Guardians.
I love the Spiders, yeah.
In an 8-1 win over the Chicago Colts at League Park in Cleveland, Young's first career error led to the only run for Chicago. So he was pretty good from the jump. Don Juan, starring John Barrymore, released by Warner Brothers Films on this day in 1926. First feature-length film to utilize the Vitaphone sound-on-disc system, synchronizing the musical score and sound effects. This day in 1945, one of the most significant days in history, the atomic bomb dropped on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. by the U.S. B-29 Super Fortress Enola Gay.
Yeah,
effectively ending the war.
I was reading a story the other day. I'm trying to remember if it was the Indianapolis or which that was sunk because it was carrying the vital parts to make the bomb work. And the story behind actually getting to the point of being able to drop the nuclear weapon was one that is fraught, with many dangerous stories and deaths that made it happen. So it's a harrowing tale, to get to that point. But very interesting story I'd never read before of the background as everything is preparing to get there.
I'm not sure why I pronounced that Hiroshima. Hiroshima?
Both ways. I think it's Hiroshima to the Japanese, maybe.
Oh, okay. It was one of those that came out, and I'm like, wait, did I say that right?
Said it right in their tongue, yeah. I mean, we say Hiroshima, but I think it's Hiroshima.
1953, this is amazing. Future Baseball Hall of Fame slugger Ted Williams returns to the Red Sox for military service in Korea. And in the abbreviated season, he hit .407. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't go off to war for a year and a half, be gone half the season, come in August and hit .407 the rest of the way. It's not fair. Not fair to everybody else. Oh, what a hitter.
Man, it looked like...
Oh, what a hitter, Ted Williams.
It just looked like a top spinning, with that bat speed and the twist in his body and the way he was able to do that. It's just amazing.
I see what you did there. Speaking of the twist, 1960, Chubby Checker performs his version of Hank Ballard's The Twist on the Dick Clark Show. And what did it do? It started a worldwide dance craze. Come on, baby, let's do that. Yeah.
Wasn't it Dick Clark Show? We had something yesterday on this day where it was talking about Dick Clark Show was the first lip sync band, grandstand show where the popular musicians would come and lip sync and everybody would dance. And obviously that became a craze. This is one of the acts that was on that, but I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that they originally started out as lip syncing, but I guess that was very difficult to do.
Milli Vanilli would have loved it.
Yeah, they would have. 1960s Milli Vanilli, they'd have been crushing it.
That was Blame It on the Rain.
Blame It on the Rain. Who didn't like those, two songs they had?
Everybody did.
Everybody liked that. And then they were like, what? Yeah. What? No.
There's a lot of Carl Lewis history in this kind of 2-week window because this is about the time when the Summer Olympics were played. 1984 in Los Angeles. Talked about this earlier in the week. Carl Lewis won the long jump, 8.54 meters, second of 4 gold medals at the L.A. Olympics. By the way, not the last time that you're going to hear about L.A. Olympics this morning. Just a little bit of a tease. L.A. 28 is making some noise in 25. The World Wide Web debuted on this day in 1991. Can that be accurate? Tim Berners-Lee released files describing his idea for the World Wide Web, and he debuts the WWW as a publicly available service on the Internet.
I remember when it was 94 was when it really started hitting college campuses.
Yeah.
And you had Blackboard and all these things where you could communicate with professors, and it did really make life a lot easier. From the everything you did. What in 93 was you stood in line everywhere and you had to go do everything physically. And within about a year, things really started changing immensely. So I imagine in education, it was one of the first places that you saw a huge impact.
Tony Gwynn in 1999 went 4 for 5, collecting his 3,000th Major League Baseball hit as San Diego beat the Expos 12-10 at Old Olympic Stadium in Montreal. And on this day, just 2 years ago, Barbie, the film, passed $1 billion at the global box office. Its director, Greta Gerwig, first solo filmmaker to ever achieve $1 billion at the box office.
And I don't want to. This is not to take anything away from her because I'm sure she is amazing and did a great job with the film. But Barbie's kind of like iconic anyway.
Yeah,
do you think that kind of helped? you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, not trying to take anything away, but she picked a great project to work on because who doesn't know Barbie and Ken?
Yeah, I'm with you. There's a $10,000 reward that is being offered for information that could lead authorities to identify anyone behind the shooting of Ole Miss football player Corey Adams. The 18-year-old, one of 5 people struck by gunfire outside of a home in Memphis in the suburb of Cordova back on the 19th of July. He was the only fatality. Life-saving measures were performed. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Shelby County Chief Deputy Anthony Buckner reported that Adams, along with more than 100 people, was at a pool party at the Fernglen Cove residence when investigators assessed the scene. They found more than 40 rifle and pistol shell casings, but since then, no arrests have been made. Nobody saw anything. Oh, I don't know.
Nice-looking neighborhood, too. I mean,
yeah, it absolutely is.
Super nice-looking neighborhood.
So officials have asked homeowners in the area for any video footage they may have, asking partygoers to provide information about the shooting, hoping that the $10,000 reward will incentivize somebody to say something about who killed the guy. Adams, a New Orleans native, enrolled early, was slated to participate in his first season. He'd be going through his first college camp, getting ready for his first season of college football. Instead, he's dead. His family is left with nothing. And for what? I mean, all you have is rumor, really, online. I've heard people say that it was simple as this was an opportunistic, kind of take some money, robbery gone bad. Knew there were a bunch of people at a party. Those people probably had money. But don't know. Maybe we'll find out one day. Following a scathing report accusing the Holly Springs Utility Department of chronic mismanagement in its duty to deliver adequate services to its ratepayers, the Mississippi Public Service Commission has voted unanimously to schedule a show cause hearing to seek additional answers. During its August public meeting, which was held on Tuesday in Jackson, the commission announced that HSUD has been ordered to appear in the City of New Albany's municipal courtroom September 4th, 9 a.m. Serves about 12,000 customers. Got to answer to the issues raised in that Silver Point Consulting document. We'll pick that story up when we come back. MRC on Super Talk, Mississippi.
You're waking up to what's happening. Mornings with Richard Cross. Right now on Super Talk, Mississippi.
One July in the midnight hour, he climbed up on the water tower, stood on the rail and painted a 10-foot heart. And John Dick Green, on a hot summer night, he wrote Billy Bob Love Charlene.
Not making this up. 100% true. Alarm went off this morning. Kind of groggily hit the snooze bar, lying there, and I'm like, I got to get up. It's Country Music Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
So back to the Holly Springs Utility Department story, which is ongoing. Public Service Commissioner Chris Brown petitioned the state legislature this past year to pass Senate Bill 20, or actually it was in 2024, to pass Senate Bill 2453. The bill expanded the commission's authority over public utilities. Brown and his commission colleagues utilized a new power to have the advisory firm Silver Point look into complaints levied against the Holly Springs Utility Department. But first, Holly Springs officials were able to skirt subpoenas and a show cause hearing facilitated by the commission. A change in leadership within City Hall proved effective in moving the proverbial ball in the right direction, or moving the electricity down the line, maybe, eventually.
Let's get her done, huh?
During April's municipal primaries, Charles Terry, a former Marshall County supervisor, defeated the incumbent Democrat Mayor Sharon Gibson Went on to win the mayor's seat. According to Brown, he has been much more cooperative with independent investigators and regulators in their pursuit to get to the root of HSUD's problems. Turns out the problem was they were spending money that they didn't have. Cool story out of William Carey. Howard Technology Solutions is one of the largest employers in Mississippi's Pine Belt region. Headquartered in Laurel, serves as a worldwide leader in tech products. To address a growing number of jobs within the company, leaders made public yesterday a new partnership with William Carey University. According to a news release, William Carey will soon offer curriculum at its Hattiesburg and Traditions campuses, tailor-made for students who may want to work at Howard. Through the Carey Institute for Excellence, the goal is to provide professional development training responsive to the needs of the local business community, especially at Howard Technology Solutions. David Perkins is Executive Vice President of Sales for Howard. Believes the partnership will not only give students a leg up upon graduation, but also result in better, more prepared employees for working at Howard. Said our career people got with the curriculum people at William Carey and created a program to train their students in the areas we need as far as hiring people for different jobs. It's expected that more programs like this are going to be rolled out at William Carey. By the way, if you have not paid attention to what's going on in Hattiesburg at William Carey University, you're missing out. They have one of the Gulf Coast region's first, maybe only, DO programs, Doctor of Osteopathy. Their pharmacy program has been wildly successful, and they are really moving at a pace that you don't see at the university level very often.
No, Dr. Ben Burnett is a star.
Yeah, they are being nimble, and as opposed to being reactionary over an extended period of time, they are proactively making decisions that are good for students and are attracting students. A Gulfport woman is charged with aggravated assault for purposely hitting another woman with her car. Jalen Marie Bro, 24 years old, was arguing with the victim in the area of Orange Grove Road and Highway 49 around 3:30. Police say as the victim began to walk away, Bro accelerated her vehicle, turned the wheel, and purposely hit them. Then put the vehicle in reverse and fled the scene. The perpetrator has not yet publicly been identified. The victim was transported to the the hit
girl, right?
Yeah, the hit girl, transported to the Harrison County Adult Detention Center. $100,000 bond. Bad story. Good story here. Mississippi's first healthcare academy is opening soon on the Gulf Coast. Grand opening going to be held on August 14th for Singing River Healthcare Academy. Communities invited to attend. Singing River Healthcare Academy offering prospective medical workers an earn-while-you-learn education model, combining classroom instruction with paid, hands-on clinical training in real-world medical environments. Created to build a sustainable talent pipeline while expanding access to meaningful careers in healthcare. Students at the training facility will be educated in hospital-like settings designed to mirror real clinical environments. Couple of simulated hospital suites, an 8-bed clinical skills lab, high-fidelity simulation rooms, modern classrooms, computer testing center. Currently, they have programs that are going to start out with CNAs, certified nursing assistants, medical assistants, licensed practical nurse, phlebotomy techs, pharmacy techs, and surgical techs. Grads will be prepared to step into clinical roles on day one post-graduation. Very cool. Very cool. Lance, there are things you can't say on the radio, and then there are things that you shouldn't say on the radio. So I'm going to be very, very careful with this story. Let's start with a post-game press conference from the WNBA. You will hear the question and the answer, and then I will try to carefully fill in the blanks, fully aware that not everybody in the audience, little people, need to hear the all the details of the story. Here you go. Uh-oh. Hold on. I gotta unmute it. By the way, sports headlines are brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Find them online at pearlriverresort.com. Whether you're looking for casino thrills, family fun, or live entertainment, Pearl River Resort has you covered. Visit them online at pearlriverresort.com.
For either Kelsey or Rikia, there was a moment in the second quarter when something was thrown onto the court, and it's not the first time it's happened at a WMA game within the last week, I guess. I'm just wondering, what was your reaction? What do you think about this happening across the league?
I'm going to steal that question. Okay. I think it's ridiculous. It's dumb. It's corny. It's stupid. We take our. It's also dangerous, and player safety is number one. Respecting the game, all those things. I think it's really stupid.
All right. So, what is being described as a toy? Some might call it a device. Sometimes battery operated. Sometimes not. It seems to be a new fad at women's professional basketball games, WNBA games. This item on multiple occasions has been tossed from the stands onto the floor, and it happened in Los Angeles at Crypto.com Arena. A couple of minutes left in the second quarter. Sophie Cunningham was on the floor. She spoke out about this on Twitter when she said, stop throwing these items onto the floor. She's been vocal on social media about fans throwing the toys onto the court. The Fever forward jumped back in surprise, and then Kelsey Plum just kicked the object into the stands. That was Sparks coach Lynn Roberts, who said, I think it's ridiculous, it's dumb, it's stupid, it's also dangerous. Kelsey Plum added that she thought that both teams did a great job playing on and not giving it any attention. So did the refs, who said, I appreciate them, was just like, hey, let's go. If you want more details on this, feel free to go to ESPN.com or other places. I feel like that's about as far as I should go with this story.
Yeah, but the Amazon drones the algorithm may be misprogrammed or something and dropping the goods in the wrong place.
I don't think these are coming from drones. We'll just leave it there. The Cleveland Browns are expected to start rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders in their preseason opener against the Carolina Panthers on Friday. You remember draft night / weekend was a long one for Shedeur Sanders. A lot of people thought he might be a first-round pick. He fell all the way to the 5th round. In fact, he was the second quarterback taken by the Browns behind Dylan Gabriel. They took him in the 3rd round. The two rookies have been in competition for Cleveland's starting quarterback spot alongside Joe Flacco, the NFL veteran, and Kenny Pickett, who played at Pittsburgh a few years ago. They also have signed former Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley. Though Sanders has gotten the fewest reps with the team's starters so far at training camp, hamstring injuries to both Pickett and Gabriel and the age and experience of Flacco have paved the way for Sanders to get his first NFL game action. The Browns begin joint practices with the Panthers in Charlotte today. NFL preseason gets going fully. You had the Hall of Fame game last week. Starts tomorrow night. Colts at Ravens, Bengals at Eagles, Raiders at Seahawks. Then on Friday, you've got Detroit in Atlanta. The Browns are at the Panthers. We were just talking about that. Commanders and the Patriots going to hook up in New England. Then on Saturday afternoon, you got the Giants at the Bills, the Texans at the Vikings, the Cowboys and the Rams are on Saturday night. So are the Steelers and Jaguars, Titans and Bucks, Jets, Packers, Chiefs, Cardinals, Broncos, 49ers. Those are all on Saturday. Then 2 games on Sunday. Miami Dolphins headed to Chicago to take on the Bears, and the Saints will wrap it up on Sunday afternoon, week 1 of the preseason, out in Los Angeles, taking on the Chargers, who have already played. They won the Hall of Fame game in Canton a couple of weeks ago. Those are your sports headlines brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Find them online at pearlriverresort.com. Alongside Lance, I'm Richard. This is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
When the weather's hot, I'm pretty good at drinking beer.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
Waking up Mississippi. From South Haven to Scuba, it's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
brought to you by the Mississippi Lottery. MSLottery.com is the website. No jackpot winner with Lotto America last night. The estimated jackpot for tonight, Wednesday, August the 6th, $3.99 million with an estimated cash value of $1,810,000. There's no jackpot winner in Powerball on Monday night, but one player matched 4 out of the 5 white balls, plus the red Powerball to win $50,000 during Monday night's drawing. The ticket was purchased at Sprint Mart in Columbus. Had they purchased the $1 Power Play add-on, they would have doubled their prize money to $100 million. The estimated cash value for tonight, $449 million. Cash value, just shy of $204 million. Monday night's numbers were 8, 9, 19, 31, 38. The Powerball was 21. The Power Play multiplier was 2. Got to get in on the action on that. You can if you want. I'm just telling you, I am. Mega Millions coming up on Friday. That jackpot's up to $166 million. Cash value of about $75 million. Got those new scratch-off lottery games shifting into high gear this August. Started yesterday, the release of new scratch-offs. Cash on the spot. It's a $1 game. Prize is up to $5,000. Cruising the Coast 2025, a $2 ticket. You can win up to $25,000 and get those 4 cool classic car designs. Break the Bank is a $5 scratch-off, the chance to win up to $100,000. Cruising the Coast, by the way, set to roll on October 5th through the 12th on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. The Mississippi Lottery team will be there. How about Triple Reds? Triple Red 777s, $10 scratch-off. Jackson woman won $25,000 on a scratch-off ticket there. That's your Mississippi Lottery update. Don't forget, C-Spire text line is open to you at 601-879-4395. 601-879-4395. You have made me laugh with many of your messages. I'm sorry, I can't read any of them.
Who, mine or the ones that were sent from our listener?
The ones that have come in from a number of listeners.
Oh, okay, good deal.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to pass on that. But they're funny, and I appreciate them. You have made me laugh. There's one more sports story. Major decisions by the NCAA's top decision-making body will need approval from all 4 major conferences, or they'll need help from a smaller conference to pass under a set of rules that was approved earlier this week that are designed to streamline the way business is done by the nation's largest overseer of college athletics. Now, you got to remember, the college football playoff is not governed by the NCAA. And moving forward, the voting structure is such that the SEC and the Big Ten have all the power. Like, they got all the power. And as long as the SEC and the Big Ten are in agreement, that is going to be the law of the land. Not actual law, but you understand. The SEC with the NCAA had been pushing for it and the other 3 power conferences, the ACC, the Big 12, and the Big 10, to receive a 17% voting share on the newly shaped Division I Board of Directors, so that if one of the 4 conferences disagreed with a proposal, the other 3 could still band together and have the 51% of the vote needed to pass legislation. But the legislation instead only increased the voting share to 16.1%, which gives each conference power to waylay a policy that it doesn't like. The D1 board deals with finances, litigation, and infractions that are unrelated to the nearly $3 billion antitrust settlement that allowed schools to start paying players through the university through revenue sharing starting this past July 1st. That's kind of what I was pointing to a second ago. Though the NCAA plays virtually no role in overseeing bowl subdivision football, that's the big boy football, which is run by the College Football Playoff. It's the latest in an ongoing push to give the biggest football-playing schools more autonomy in making decisions across the college landscape. So, there you go. Later in the 7 o'clock hour, coming up just after 7:30 this morning, Sam Creekmore will join me, chairman of the Public Health and Human Services Committee. He was part of that recent opioid advisory committee meeting that was derailed. And he's got some pretty significant thoughts on veterans and the fact that they are not being taken care of in the way that perhaps they should be. Look forward to that conversation with Sam Creekmore. Kelly Bennett will be by in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll break down all the election results from yesterday's low turnout special elections that were on the ballot across the state. 1 hour in the books. Wednesday morning with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
Want to know what's happening in Mississippi politics?
Yes.
You're in the right place. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Revenue man want a granddaddy bad. Headed left for holler of everything had. For my time, but I've been told never come back from Copperhead Road.
Good morning. Welcome again to Mornings with Richard Cross. It's the 7 o'clock hour on the Wednesday, August 6th edition of the show. Thanks for being with us. This more hour of MRC is brought to you by MWG. MWG Employer Services. Running a business is tough, and if you're struggling with HR, benefits, and payroll, you're not alone. That's where MWG Employer Services comes in. They provide a full range of employer services, plus a custom plan that fits you. Call today, 601-206-7966, or go to MWGEmployerServices.com. We are in a time on the calendar where there is a lot going on. Got everybody going back to school. If you're headed to school this morning, you're a teacher, you are a parent trying to get a little one to school. Be safe out there. Hope the school year is off to a good start. But this, I mean, like, you're back to school, you're trying to get back into a routine, a lot of meetings, a lot of sports activities starting. We're less than 4 weeks from the start of the college football season, and we got a lot going on here at Super Talk, including the Not Fall Camp Tour. It starts officially today, and if you are in the Oxford area, would love for you to come out and see us this afternoon for Sports Talk Mississippi on the Oxford Square at the library. We have got great giveaways. In fact, Lance, you start painting with a big, broad brush, and sometimes you get yourself in trouble. But I am confident that never have we had as many good or as many giveaways at a single remote as what we are going to have today at the library in Oxford, next Wednesday in Starkville at Two Brothers Smoked Meats in the Cotton District, or the following Wednesday, August 20th, at Ed's Burger Joint in Hattiesburg. We have got custom genteel apparel to give away, golf shirts with your favorite school's logo on them. Got some hoodies, also performance weight hoodies that we're going to give away that are logoed. We have got brand new, picked them up yesterday, hats. A lot of you have asked about Super Talk hats. Well, we've got some to give away. We're going to do that over the next 3 Wednesdays. The hats are really, really good. You just have to trust me on that. We'll show them to you this afternoon, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to give some of those away in other venues as well. And then a load of stuff from our friends at Pearl River Resort. We've got golf to give away at Dancing Rabbit. We've got hotel rooms at the Golden Moon. We've got gift certificates for meals at Philip M's, the incredible steakhouse at Pearl River Resort. But you can only get them if you come and you see us at the Not Fall Camp football tour stops this afternoon in Oxford at the library. It's all brought to you by Pearl River Resort, your destination for casino thrills, family fun, and live entertainment. Go to pearlriverresort.com for more information. It's also brought to you by Tico's Steakhouse, located on the square in Oxford. Tico's Steakhouse is known for its mouth-watering, hand-cut steaks that are seasoned to perfection, seared on the grill, locking in all that incredible flavor. Call ahead for reservations or go to ticossteakhouse.com for more details. Governor Tate Reeves kind of came out swinging this morning, and it was commentary related to the special elections yesterday. Largely, incumbents were reelected. In fact, all but one incumbent held strong after primary races were held yesterday for both the House and the Senate as a result of redistricting. Of the 14 seats up for grab, only 7 of them had contested primary races. The upset of the night came in District 42, where Republican Senator Robin Robinson unseated by Don Hartness. Hartness had the backing of former State Senator Chris McDaniel and his political allies, finishing with over 70% of the vote. And you remember the story from yesterday. Talked about it, or maybe it was Monday with J.T. Mitchell. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Monday. Robin Robinson's brother, R.J., was also running. Now, R.J. got less than 2% of the vote, but Don Hartness wins in that district and is set to be sworn in January with no Democratic or independent candidates seeking the office that encompasses parts of Forest, Greene, Jones, and Wayne counties. Senate District 1, Michael McClendon held off former Alabama football player and DeSoto Economic Development Council board member John Stevenson. Ended up winning that by 30 points. And there were some that thought that race had gotten close. Senate District 2, Teresa Isom came out victorious over Robert Walker. She will face South Haven Alderman Charlie Hoots in the general election. Senate District 11, incumbent Senator Reginald Jackson beat former state representative Abe Hudson in the Democrat primary. Jackson finished about 17 points ahead of his old peer and will face Republican Kendall Pruitt in the general election. We'll get into more of these results with Kelly Bennett in the 8 o'clock hour. But I mentioned that the governor had thoughts. About half an hour ago, he posted this on X. Obamacare Medicaid expansion was on the ballot yesterday in Republican primaries across Mississippi. Said the MS Democrats party tagged them, activists, and some news organizations, not SuperTalk Mississippi, and their funding team at the Mississippi Hospital Association have for years lied and released fake polls claiming our primary voters are okay with Obamacare expansion. But the legislators' vote matters, and as always, voters are smarter than the politicians give them credit for, writes the governor. He went on to say, we state our policy preference in contested primaries to name the person carrying our Republican banner as our nominees, and the conservative voting record always wins. He points to Senator McClendon and Senator Johnson both voting no on Obamacare expansion and winning their primaries. Senator Parker and Senator Robinson both voting yes to expand Obamacare in Mississippi, neither of them returning to the Senate. He says, parenthetically, I do believe Senator Robinson would have voted to sustain a veto, but she never got that chance. And then he points out that those votes were before President Trump's one big beautiful bill passed to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse, making his opposition to Obamacare clear. Republican primaries for all 8 statewide elected offices and all Senate and House members are less than 2 years away, qualifying only 17 months from now. So that was the message from the governor, Tate Reeves, this morning on X. On the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395 says, it's a huge stretch for Tate to claim that ACA expansion is why Robinson lost. Robinson lost because Chris McDaniel endorsed her opponent. Additionally, Parker didn't even run because he was drawn out of his district in the latest round of redistricting. Thomas in Greenwood says, I remember watching Don Hartness walking around the Capitol during the flag session, waving the flags, the old state flag. Never imagined that he would win an election. And yet, he does. Or he did. With a supermajority statewide, does Tate need to make up fake boogeymen to keep engaged? That is from Walter in Tupelo. Turnout was very, very low yesterday. Heard the Secretary of State, Michael Watson, on the radio in a news clip yesterday saying that the hope was that perhaps turnout would pick up later in the day. It's a weird time for an election, right? First week of August, right as school's starting back. You're not in election mindset. Only a handful of races, and it was yesterday. I mean, it's always the case, especially in local elections, but especially yesterday was one of those days where you say, can you get your people out? Because if you can get your people to the polls, then you had a great chance. Not a good chance, but a great chance to win in those elections yesterday. Thomas says it ain't a fake boogeyman. Medicaid expansion is still relevant, and we still have to oppose it. Oh, here's one. Never should have gotten rid of the old state flag. On that, my friend, we could not disagree more. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. We roll on with you after this.
Universe divide, and when I reach the other side.
From the Venable Glass Tree.
Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi. Welcome to the show.
Well, a good dog on the ground's worth 3 in the saddle, no matter where you're from. Been many good dog was a friend to a man, but Sam was the greatest one. He was a hound of hounds. He was the wonder of all walkers. He loved howling at the moon. He loved treeing that raccoon. Most of all, he was my best friend.
What is this?
Gone to
Sturgill Simpson.
Oh,
this is
thank you.
Sam, buddy. Ballad of Dude and Juanita is the album.
He was a run of the litter, but a plenty mean pup. But Sam
beautiful.
And he never let up.
Country Music Wednesday with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. Can we just throw out there that disagreeing on an issue does not mean that one side or the other doesn't understand the issue?
Well, I have a question. What was the benefit of keeping the flag, though? I mean, I'll step out of character here for a minute.
You just took that grenade and just tossed it right into the middle of the room.
I hope so. That was the point. But what was the negative to keeping the flag? Heritage and history and all that stuff? I mean, I'm serious. It's an honest question. As a historian and a political scientist, what benefit did it bring Mississippi? Again, I'm just asking a question.
You think that $35 billion in investment into the state of Mississippi happens the way it has happened in the last 5 years?
Oh, of course, yeah. That's just flowing in. It was flowing in for so many years before, Richard. So,
got a message from Andy. He says, obviously, you never served in a foreign country with that flag flying over your fob. People like you can never understand. Well, you're right. I have not served in a foreign country. It's actually one of my great regrets in life. I'm so incredibly thankful for my family, for where I get to live, for the job that I get to do. 100% no regrets about the life that I am fortunate enough to live. But I do feel that I failed on that front in not serving my country, and am eternally grateful for those who choose to serve, regardless of what they believe politically or about a flag or anything else. Those people who choose to serve for our country, you have my gratitude until my dying breath. And you're right, I did not serve in a foreign country. But to say that I don't understand, that's a little silly. And I responded to the message. I said, I understand just fine, thank you very much. And while proud and thankful to be from Mississippi, the only flag that I would be concerned about serving under if I was in a foreign country is the Star-Spangled Banner. Period. But that's just me. More on the C Spire text line. It was the will of the people when they voted on it in 2000. It was never voted on again. Absolutely no benefit for keeping it. Best thing Speaker Gunn ever did. Well, Speaker Gunn and so many others, some of whom it cost their job. I'm glad we had a flag that glorified some of the least American people of all time. We've got moron listeners coming out of the woodwork this morning. No, I'm going to push back on that. I don't think having a different opinion makes you a moron. And I don't think having a different opinion means, as the previous texter said, oh, you don't understand. It just means that you have a different opinion. But my opinion, and I think the opinion of most in Mississippi, like this isn't really even an issue. It's not even a conversation, and yet it has come up this morning, and so we can go down this road. The opinion of most is that the flag was a change that the state of Mississippi needed. And you want to talk about state pride? I'll tell you one of the places that I have felt pride for the state of Mississippi bubbling over. It's something that I'd seen in lots of other places, but had not been able to see it in Mississippi. I think it's really, really cool that in Oxford, Starkville, Hattiesburg, Cleveland, Jackson, and other places, you have a football player, when the teams run out onto the field, that is carrying the flag of the state of Mississippi and holding it high as they run out onto the field. I think that's a really, really cool thing. Now, you may say that's silly. That's fine. That's what works for me. And I vividly remember being on the field at Vaught Hemingway the first time that happened, and I had some tears well up in my eyes because you had a flag that everybody could be for, that was hopefully uniting. I understand it didn't unite everybody. There's some that still prefer to have the old flag. Well, it's not coming back. But anyway. C-Spire text line, the issue about the Confederate flag is a non-issue. Many of us still fly that flag in our homes simply because it does represent heritage. It does represent what Mississippi was, but I don't want it to represent what Mississippi is now or what the future is. It is an awesome flag, but sometimes change is needed. Get over it.
No, I think that's a great way to put it.
I think that's really well said.
Right there. I have no problem with anybody wanting to fly the flag at their house and on their car. I mean, I'm going to get mad about that.
Yeah.
But the state of Mississippi, that's a different thing. And we represent a very vast and diverse cross-section of people that you want to honor.
Yeah. Jeff in Brookhaven says, you're right, the flag that made an 18-year-old shed a tear as he saw it raised while stationed abroad was Old Glory. That's from Jeff in Brookhaven. Jeff, thank you for your service. Fact that they changed the flag is not the issue. It's the way that they went about it. Tate Reeves, in a debate, said that he would not change the flag unless the people voted for it to be changed. Elbert Hoseman pushed it through, signed off on it. The people did not get to vote on it. You can fill in the blank with the flag, and the government can change anything they want to without the people wanting it changed. That is the problem, sir. I understand absolutely what you are saying, but I disagree with you, and here's why. And by the way, you absolutely do not have to disagree with this opinion. I would say, and again, this is my opinion, that the option, once you had gone down the road of possibly changing the state flag, of sticking with the old flag, was simply not on the table. There was too much at stake in that debate. There were too many people that stood for that when maybe it wasn't the most popular thing, that it had to be done in a way where failure was simply not an option. And that's the reason it was done the way that it was done. And you can say, oh, Richard, you've got to put that on the ballot and let the people decide. We didn't need a vote in Mississippi that was 51-49 or 54-46 or anything else that said to the rest of the world, 45% of Mississippians didn't want to change the flag. And then people are like, oh, but it was the whatever. The flag's beautiful. The new one is. It's fine. Whether it's the best one or not, whether there was another design that you like better or not, whatever. I just don't. I think it had to be done the way that it was done. And I applaud the men and women of the legislature who led the charge on that. I applaud my colleague, our late friend Paul Gallo, who was an ardent supporter of changing the flag. And had I been sitting in this chair at that time, you would have heard the exact same thing from me. But you're right. It's in the rearview mirror. It absolutely is in the rearview mirror. Changing the flag has helped our state. That's from the coast, 228 number. Completely agree. I completely agree. In a positive way. Economic development at the top of the list. Now, would the old flag have absolutely kept companies from coming from Mississippi? No, not necessarily. But you took away an objection. Like if you are selling your state and wanting people to move to the state of Mississippi, you have taken away one of the objections that might have existed previously. Please remember the government leaders who stepped up and changed the flag were reelected. This tells you where the people stood. Yet most of them. There were a few that were not. And yet still stood up for what they believed was the right. Money over principle. Good boy, Richie. Yeah, I don't think I ever said money over principle. I didn't. Principally, I agreed with the change. Intellectually, I agreed with the change. Philosophically, I agreed with the change. My heart agreed with the change. But the point that I made was simply the economics of the state of Mississippi have changed since the flag was changed. And some of that is based on leadership. Some of that is based on very, very effective people at MDA and the governor's office and the legislature making it easier for companies to come in. There are a lot of reasons for that. Glad to be with you this morning. We'll continue right after this. From segment of Mornings with Richard Cross is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Find out what's happening across your state. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Amarillo by morning, up from San Antonio. Everything that I got is just what I've got on. When that sun is high in that Texas sky, I'll be bucking at the county fair.
Once again, good morning to you. Thanks for being with us. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. The C Spire text line is open, and it's been a little spicy this morning. And that's all right. We love that. Love communicating, sharing with you, and you sharing with us as well. If you want to get in on the conversation on the C Spire text line, the number is 601-879-4395. Ready for your winning strategy? Here it is. Join C Spire, all the technology and support you need to succeed at home, at work, and everywhere else. Visit cspire.com today. C Spire, inspired by you. First guest of the morning joins us right now. He represents House District 14. That is Union County, the great state of New Albany. Sam Creekmore. He is chairman of Public Health and Human Services. Sam, good morning. Really appreciate some of your time. Always good to see you.
Likewise, Richard. Thanks for having me.
What's going on in your world right now? We are in that time of the year that I call the off season. I know that in truth there is never really an off season for legislators, especially those with chairmanships. So this time between sessions, what has been occupying your time?
Well, I just want to start off, Richard, because every time I'm on your show, we talk about sports. So this is pretty new territory now, but
a little bit different.
In my world, and you'll appreciate this, Cotton States ended this past weekend. We finished our 17th collegiate season. So my world is starting to settle down, hopefully.
So let's pause just for a second, because even though it's been going on for nearly 2 decades, there are people that still don't know about the Cotton States Baseball League. You and some others in the New Albany community came together to put together a summer league and now a fall league as well, part of which is wood bat, and you got players coming in from all over the Southeast to play in Mississippi.
All over the country. We had a kid from Oregon
really
this year. Yes, sir. So he had a good summer. His team won the league. So, but it's started out as a summer collegiate baseball league, all played in New Albany, and so we have kids from all over, mostly from the Southeast. You're right, but really we have kids from all over come into New Albany and they play college baseball here in New Albany.
Hey, I coached really in that league. I coached up there one year.
He sure did.
Won it all, baby. Tupelo Thunder.
Won it. That's right. And so we've expanded this to high school and junior high as well. And a lot of the college players will end up coaching our high school and junior high during the month of July. But the collegiate league lasts June and July. So it ended this past weekend. And so I've got my weekends back at least for a little while.
There you go. That'll be good. This opioid advisory committee, we know that there's a big settlement that has come to the state of Mississippi, and now, if I understand it right, it's the committee's job to make arrangements for how that money is going to be distributed, where it's going to go, the different things that it is going to support. Forgive me for starting here, because I know many of you that are on the committee would love to leave this in the rearview mirror, but the opioid advisory committee meeting a week or two ago was disrupted and knocked offline pretty quickly thanks to what some have described as a cyber attack.
Yeah, and let me just give you the background. The state of Mississippi joined a lawsuit or started a lawsuit in 2021, the Attorney General, against the opioid pharmaceuticals. And we've won that. Money started flowing into the state. And Senator Boyd on the Senate side and me on the House side both authored a bill to create this council. And it's made up of people from all over the state, from many walks of life, from many disciplines, who had history and expertise in this space. And so we've got this bill passed, and both Senator Boyd and I, part of our mission was to get the money out as quick as possible, because these people who are suffering from addiction and opioids need help as quick as possible. So, we're kind of on a fast track with this council. And so we met once, we established kind of our guidelines, and in our second meeting, which we were going to approve and codify these guidelines after, and you know how these meetings go, you do your roll call, you establish a quorum, and then this was all by Zoom. And keep in mind, Richard, you got mothers, grandmothers, you got Supreme Court justices all on this Zoom. And you got people who've been through addiction issues. And so, we get through the roll call, quorum's established, and the first document is up on the screen for everybody to review, and then the screen goes blank, and then this pornographic scene appears on the screen, and it lasted maybe 15, 20 seconds, and then the meeting was over after that. And maybe you can joke about it, but at the end of the day, this is a serious issue, and it's delayed us a week from getting these things accomplished. We're going to meet Friday at 1. But whoever did this, it's not funny. It's a serious issue. And I did talk to the Attorney General's office yesterday to see where they were. They're actively investigating this cybercrime and this hacking of this meeting. So that's what happened. And
I should probably, Sam, raise my hand and admit that I made a little more light of it. I understand the seriousness of the overall topic, and obviously there's a lot of work to do, and we're going to talk about this. But there was, I thought, at least a level of humor in there, but probably misplaced humor.
There is.
Yeah,
there is, and just like our meeting now, if somebody was to hijack our Zoom right now, it would not be cool for me and you.
No, it wouldn't. I mean, there might be a day where I laughed at it, but I'm not sure that today would be that day. All right, so the amount of money and the avenues through which it's going to be spent or which it's going to be distributed. Kind of give me at least a working plan on that.
Sure. Well, in total, the state of Mississippi is going to receive around $370 million. Now, that's not all coming at one time. I think we've received around $84 million or so right now. And 70% of that goes to this opioid abatement, which is council will recommend where that money goes. That's 70%. 15% is going to cities and counties who are part of the lawsuit, and they'll have control of that. And then another 15% goes to the legislature, which it doesn't have to go to opioid abatement, but that's my plan is that 15% that the legislature controls will still go to opioid abatement programs. So the 70% is what this council doesn't control, but we recommend where that money is to be spent.
Okay.
And then we make our recommendations, the council, and that goes to the legislature, and the legislature says yes or no to each recommendation.
What is the balance?
The money will come in.
Yeah. We get this question here, and I think this is a good one. Is the settlement going to be used to help with treatment for those who are affected by opioids? Is it for rapid response, making Narcan more readily available? I saw a story, I think it was earlier this week, maybe it was last week, and you're reminded of how prevalent and how serious opioid issues can be. There was a police officer who was making a routine arrest, came into contact with someone who had, I guess it was methamphetamine on them, had a reaction to that, and it was because one of her colleagues had access to Narcan that they were able to get her taken care of and stabilized. So in terms of the balance of how the money goes, and I know you say a lot of different avenues, is it all of the above?
All of the above, yes.
Okay.
The 70% has to be toward abatement issues, which, yes, that would be treatment, that would be toward education. But, yeah, our goal was to get it in the hands as quick as possible. So there are nonprofits out there that are taking care of people suffering from substance abuse and addiction, and so they would qualify, and so they would apply for this grant, for this money. There's a rubrics system where it's graded, and then they'll, wherever they fall in that tier, will be able to receive money.
Yeah.
And the state of Mississippi is going to be getting money over the next 12, 14 years from this lawsuit. So it can reoccur again and again over the next several years.
Visiting with Sam Creekmore, he represents District 14 in Union County. We have seen the border crossings, illegal border crossings, stem significantly in the last 7 months now in this new administration. Are we seeing an effect in the amount of illicit drugs that are coming into the country that you think is that we can see yet? And we've only got about 30 seconds to the break. We'll talk more about it after this.
Yeah, I've not seen a slowdown.
Okay.
We had a slight slowdown in opioid use this past year, but not significant.
Take a quick time out. We got more coming up with Sam Creekmore, including pretty strong opinion that he's got about veterans in Mississippi, veterans in the United States, and what we need to be doing for them on the mental health front. All of that coming up with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. We're back right after this.
A little too rowdy and a little too loud, but there's no place that I'd rather be than right here. My redneck, white socks and blue ribbon beer.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
The White House to your hometown. This is where you find out what's happening. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Living on the road, my friend, was gonna keep you free and clean. And now you wear your skin like iron, and your breath is hard as kerosene.
Good to be with you this morning. It's Mornings with Richard Cross. We are wrapping up the 7 o'clock hour with Sam Creekmore. He represents District 14 in the Mississippi House of Representatives and is chair of the Public Health and Human Services Committee. Pretty significant date, Sam, on the calendar that's coming up. August 28th, a hearing that's happening at the legislature, joint House and Senate hearing to explore the clinical potential of Ibogaine. I think I pronounced that correctly.
Ibogaine.
Ibogaine? Okay.
Ibogaine.
Well, Google lied to me then. So, this is currently a Schedule I substance in the United States. And there are studies that say that this helps significantly in dealing with PTSD and, in some cases, opioid addiction. Opioids, which are among a cocktail of drugs that are sometimes prescribed for those returning, especially servicemen and women, who are dealing with the after effects of combat or being away from the United States. Walk us down this road, if you don't mind.
All right. Ibogaine is a natural compound that is extracted from the iboga plant, and it's been around for centuries. And in the 60s, when Nixon was dealing with all the psychedelics issues in the United States, he swept Ibogaine and several others up into this and made it a Schedule I. And so to be Schedule I, you have to have an addictive characteristic and have no medicinal value. Those two, and Ibogaine does not qualify for either one. It's not something you use to get high. It's not recreational, but it does have significant impact and effect on, as you mentioned, the PTSD and addiction, whether it's nicotine addiction, cocaine addiction, or in our case, we're talking about opioid addiction. And after a 24, 48-hour period of going through this Ibogaine process, which has to be done in a clinical setting, you don't go and just take it home. You're in a hospital or a clinic, and you're monitored by doctors and nurses during this period. After that process, you come out, and 80% of the time, your withdrawal symptoms are gone, eliminated. There's nothing else out there like that right now.
Is that for a short time period or in perpetuity they're gone?
Well, if you go through 2 doses of it, it's up to 90% forever gone. So, I mean, there's nothing out there like that. So, and that's it. So, I mean, we've got methadone and other drugs out there, but you take those throughout the process and you never really recover fully. Some do. But this is, in many cases, a one-time fix, and it's not pleasant to go through. But in the United States, it's illegal. In Mexico, it's not. Brazil, it's not. So we have veterans by the thousands going to Mexico and other places to be treated, to be made whole. And, we have an opportunity, and that's what this hearing is about. And we're going to have veterans who've gone through the Ibogaine process, who've come out the other side, a whole human being, and be able to live a productive life.
I'm wildly fascinated by the possibilities that are here. One of the first questions that pops into my mind is, when you think about opioid addiction, one of the things that we've heard is that there are people who were able to get off opioids through the use of kratom. And we know that that has been a hot topic here in Mississippi. And the arguments for it have been, well, the kratom plant in its purest form, but we ended up with synthetic kratom and stuff that's bad and unregulated and all of these things. When you start talking to me about a plant-based substance that helps specifically, I can't help but wonder about side effects or addiction possibilities to this going forward. How are these things different? Ibogaine, the Iboga plant, and kratom, and kind of the naturally occurring kratom plant.
Right. Well, and that's a good question. I'm glad you asked it. But this process is not pleasant to go through. You're in you're throwing up. You're having dreams. I mean, it's just very difficult to go through it. So this is not something that's addictive or that you're going to take recreationally. It's just not going to happen, nor is it available to do. I mean, it's very tough to get Ibogaine. So unlike the kratom or marijuana, it's not something that's going to give you a high. Not going to
be in a can and a drink at the local convenience store. Okay.
No. And we do regulate kratom, by the way, now.
Right. Yeah. Thankfully.
Yeah.
Do you? We got 30 seconds to the break. Do you sense support from your colleagues for pushing Mississippi forward in this?
Yes, it's a Senate House hearing, joint hearing, and very much support. And with the people that are going to be testifying and their stories, it's very incredible.
You can read an op-ed that Sam Creekmore has written about Ibogaine. It'll be available on our website, supertalk.fm, and a lot of other places that it's been sent for your consumption as well to learn more about this. Sam, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much for being with me.
Likewise, Richard. Thank you.
Sam Creekmore, chairman of the Public Health and Human Services Committee. 8 o'clock hour on the way. Kelly Bennett joins us next.
You're right. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born.
Good morning to you as we roll into the 8 o'clock hour. We once again say welcome. Thanks for being with us. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi. Glad to have you along for the ride. The C Spire text line is open, 601-879-4395. That's the number for you to be part of the conversation. In sports and business, having the right team behind you matters. Partner with C Spire today for business solutions from dedicated, certified IT engineers. Learn more at cspire.com. C Spire, inspired by you. Wanted to mention this that came in on the C Spire text line. I think I used an incorrect term in my conversation with Sam Creekmore a little while ago. I mentioned that story, and look, I don't know the details of the story, but it was there was a police officer that came into contact with the suspect. I think it was in a routine traffic stop, who had an opioid in their possession, and there was a reaction that the police officer had, and the police officer's partner administered Narcan, which turned out to be important, or at least as the way the story read it. I mistakenly said methamphetamine instead of opioid, and there was a pharmacist that was listening and said, hey, I hope you'll correct it, just because in critical situation minutes matter, and people need to make sure that they know that. So my apologies for not speaking clearly. That Narcan is to reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. I think I said that correctly now. So thank you for the correction. I know that felt important to you and wanted to make sure that we got that right. MRC, glad to be with you this morning. Glad to welcome in Kelly Bennett, who hopefully didn't have to burn too much of the midnight oil. Voter turnout yesterday was pretty low across the state of Mississippi for the 14 special elections that were going on. I think that was of disappointment to many, including the Secretary of State, Michael Watson, who talked about that a little bit with us on the Super Talk Mississippi news team yesterday. But we do have results, and for the most part, it was incumbents that kind of ruled the day, for the most part.
Yeah, it really was. You want me to go down a list? So basically, this special primary that was held Tuesday was forced to happen after a federal panel of judges ruled the state was diluting black voting power with its legislative maps. So they had to go in, redraw the maps. That was a whole process. You can kind of look at what's going on in Texas and see why that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Of the 14 seats up for grabs, only 7 had contested primary races. So the big upset of the night came in Senate District 42. Incumbent Republican Senator Robin Robinson was unseated by Dawn Harkness. I think a lot of people expected her to get right back in there. Now, Harkness, who had serious backing from former state Senator Chris McDaniel and his political team, actually finished with over 70% of the vote. I mean, that's a huge win.
Landslide.
Robinson's brother, RJ, also ran, but received less than 2% of ballots cast. Harkness will be sworn in January because there were no Democratic or independent candidates seeking that office, which, by the way, encompasses parts of Forest, Greene, Jones, and Wayne counties. I know people that did go out and vote had probably already looked at the maps and they see the changes, but some people may not be familiar. So,
Kelly, is the biggest takeaway here with Dawn Harkness winning this that regardless of how you feel about him, at least locally, Chris McDaniel still carries a lot of sway?
That's very possible. I also think maybe the fact that her brother was running in the same race kind of played into this weird family politic, and people were like, I don't want to be a part of that drama.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We talked about it on Monday morning with JT. It was an odd story to see RJ running against his sister, who's the incumbent, and we were just trying to figure out who got left out of the family wheel.
Well, I think the odder thing to me was, like, I have family members that are totally on the opposite end of the scale politically, but if we ran for office, we'd be running under different party affiliations. You know what I mean? They were even in the same party, so that got even weirder. But let's go down some more. So Senate District 1, that includes parts of DeSoto and Tate counties. Incumbent Senator Michael McClendon held off former Alabama football player and DeSoto Economic Development Council board member John Stevenson by over 30 points. McClendon will face Democrat Chris Hanna and the Generals. In Senate District 2, parts of DeSoto and Tunica counties, Teresa Isom easily came out victorious over Robert Walker in the Democrat primary. She'll face South Haven Alderman Charlie Hoots and the Generals. In Senate District 11, which has a wider range with parts of Coahoma, DeSoto, Quitman, Tate, and Tunica counties, incumbent Senator Reginald Jackson beat former State Representative Abe Hudson Jr. in the Democrat primary. Jackson finished around 17 points ahead of his old peer. He'll face Republican Kendall Pruitt in the general election. For Senate District 44, which includes parts of Forest, Lamar, and Perry counties, incumbent Senator Chris Johnson staved off challenger Patrick Lott in the GOP primary. Lott had an early lead before Johnson came back to win by over 5 points. It was kind of interesting watching the online articles coming up last night because we had timestamps on each of them, like, here's what's going on right now. So if you want to look back at that, it might be kind of interesting if you're into it. Johnson will face Democrat Shakita Taylor in the general election. Then you had House races. You had District 16. That includes parts of Chickasaw, Lee, Monroe, and Pontotoc counties. Incumbent Rep. Ricky Thompson had a landslide victory over Brady Davis in the Democrat primary. Thompson's on his way back to the Capitol. No challengers there. And then House District 41, which blankets Lowndes County. Incumbent Representative Kabir Kareem earned over 84% of the ballots to beat Pierre Beard. Beard, a former Columbus City councilman with multiple arrests over the past few years, was no match for the leader of the Mississippi Legislative Black Caucus. Kareem, who also had an endorsement from Democrat Congressman Benny Thompson, is unopposed in the generals.
So those were the races across the state yesterday. That Lowndes County race was fascinating. Not in that there was any suspense there, but it was like, wait, Pierre Beard is running for this? The same guy that's been arrested on drug charges and alcohol charges multiple times in the last few years. Like what gives here? Why does this feel like a good idea?
Yeah, it's a little strange to see that, but I think it's getting more common to see our political leaders with past jail time, and it's not the big deal it used to be to some voters. Maybe
to some people, I suppose. So we got no runoffs, so no early. Is that right, or is there a runoff?
No runoffs, so
okay.
Everything's set. There were a couple of Senate districts where they didn't have any challengers, so that would have been Senate District 19. So you've got Republican Senator Kevin Blackwell and Democrat Diane Black up in the generals, and then Senate District 45, Democrat Johnny Dupree, who might be a familiar face to a lot of people, will face Republican Ann Rush on November 4th in the generals. There were a couple of, or maybe it was only one House race. Yeah, House District 22. One of the seats residents already knew who'd be on the ballot in the generals. Incumbent Representative John Lancaster and Democrat challenger Justin Crosby will go up against each other in the general.
There we go. So no August runoffs for any of these races. The next time you'll go to the polls is in November for the general. And again, these 14 races in the House and the Senate because of redistricting and the need to fill those seats. Kelly, thank you as always for your time and your coverage, and we'll keep an eye on these races.
Thanks. I'm enjoying Country Music Wednesday, too. You guys keep it up. Sounds good.
Lance is the best. He knows how to spin those records. Kelly Bennett, multimedia journalist with the SuperTalk Mississippi News team, always too kind to join us in our election coverage. We've got time left this morning with you, and we're glad to be with you. C-Spire text line open at 601-879-4395. Remind you that Delta State's second annual Night of Champions is this Friday night in Cleveland. Tickets are still available. The event, which will feature former Major League Baseball star and best-selling author Mike Matheny. Tickets available. You can go online to GoStatesman.com. That's GoStatesman.com. Glad to be with you on this Wednesday morning, middle of the week, downhill from here toward the weekend. Got a few things to explore before we wrap up this morning. We'll hit some national headlines. Elizabeth Warren says that Mondami is the way forward for Democrats. Jasmine Crockett spoke. We may need an interpreter. And Ken Paxton in Texas is looking for a Supreme Court ruling in Texas. We'll have that and more for you coming up next.
From the Venable Glass.
Good morning, everybody. Time to wake up.
Time to shine!
Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
So I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. And the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. Said, if you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to
Glad
run.
to be with you on this Wednesday morning. Richard Cross, Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi. Streaming at supertalk.fm and SuperTalk TV. How about this note, Lance? Good morning, Richard and Lance. I want to thank both of you and SuperTalk for an amazing evening for my wife and me at the Brandon Amphitheater last night.
All right.
Awarded tickets for the Rod Stewart show through your show a while back. Last night was the night. Thank you again. That's from Edward in Greenwood.
That's what I like to hear. Having fun.
Absolutely.
Weeknight at the amphitheater. That's usually, I've been to a couple shows out there on the weeknights. Man, it's awesome. You know, you in and out and get back home for dinner and bed and seen a heck of a show, you know.
Edward, we very much appreciate you following up on that. I actually got a text from another winner that was at the show last night, sent me a picture and said they were having a blast. So glad a good time was had by all. You know another way to have a good time? Have a piece of land.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You can go to that piece of land and you can do what you want to do, Lance. You want to burn something, you can burn it. If you want to step off the back porch and get that instant relief that you can only get in the great outdoors, you can do that without neighbors watching. You have a pond, you can hunt, you can fish, you can be one with nature, all of those things available when you have land. Well, but there's a problem, Richard. I don't have land. Well, I got a solution for you. David Fisher Land Company. If you want land or if you've got land that you need to sell, David Fisher Land Company can help. They are based in Inverness. Beautiful. Inverness, Mississippi, heart of the Mississippi Delta. But they service the entire state of Mississippi and Arkansas and Louisiana, and they have been operating in the land space for 40 years. So they got plenty of experience in farm and recreational land brokerage, land appraisals, farmland management. Whether you're looking for 100 acres or several thousand acres, or perhaps an equity share in a hunting club from DeSoto County to the South Delta, David Fisher Land Company is ready to earn your business. Customers across the Southeast, if you need to sell, they're ready to help you there. I'm not going to give you their phone number. I'll give you the website. DavidFisherland.com. 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 David, Jack, Travis, they are all ready and willing to help you with all of your land needs. Hope you'll tell them you heard about them on SuperTalk Mississippi. David Fisher Land Company, DavidFisherland.com. I talked with Jack, I guess it was last week, just checking in, and said a lot of you have been coming to their Facebook page, checking out the website, and I think that in the very near future, Lance, we're going to be able to tell all of our listeners about a specific piece of property in the Mississippi Delta that is about to come on the market that would be a prime hunting spot. And it's certainly not inexpensive, but no. But here's what I was going to say. In terms of land, like if you have looked at land, you know it is in a lot of cases, a large investment. And I think there's going to be a big number on the property, but it is a very fair number on that property as well, especially for the amount of acreage that you're talking about. We'll be able to tell you about that in hopefully just a few days, or you can just reach out to our friends at David Fisher Land Company and learn more. Richard Cross, Lance Talbert, glad to be with you. Thomas in Greenwood says, wait, I'm not selling yet. Yeah, but Thomas, when the time comes, I hope you'll call David Fisher Land Company and let them help you. We got to start with Elizabeth Warren. This is a couple of days old. But if you are a Republican, you are almost giddy in terms of happiness with the direction of the Democrat Party. And Elizabeth Warren, and forgive me, Lance, because I know this is repeating, but I feel like we need to go back and remind ourselves of what happened immediately after the election. It was like all the stages of grief. There was sadness for the Democrats, and then there was shock, and then there was anger, and then there was, what do we do next? And leading Democrat voice after leading Democrat voice said very publicly, we have to change our messaging. We have to connect with the American people in a way that clearly we did not connect. And that lasted for about 2 weeks. And they have gone right back from whence they came. Donald Trump is the devil. People that like Sidney Sweeney are Nazis. Socialistic communism is the way.
I guess you said enough, people start believing it. Isn't that the old adage?
Yeah, except for the fact that clearly they don't and they didn't. And this is Elizabeth Warren alongside Zohran Mamdani saying that the nationwide message for Democrats is this going forward.
When someone stands up and says, I will lead this city by making it more affordable, and here are my plans, real plans, plans to deliver on child care, plans to deliver on housing, plans to deliver, we're going to experiment, we're going to try things on groceries. That is the Democratic message.
That is the Democratic message. Government-run grocery stores.
Yeah, give us some experiments.
Democratic socialism, which is an oxymoron in and of itself.
So we're the test tube. Yeah, we get experimented upon.
Government-run grocery stores is the message of the Democrat Party going forward.
You can't run a post office, but, man, you're going to keep that lettuce fresh, aren't you?
Straight out of the mouth of Elizabeth Warren. And then there was this, straight out of the mouth. Here you go. Caitlin Collins on CNN had a guest. Her guest was Representative Jasmine Crockett from the great state of Texas, and she says, we are not going back. Not going back.
And so I want people to see him and understand who he is. This is a person that has a problem with people of color, period. I don't care how many black MAGA out there with their hats. I want to be clear.
I don't care how many black MAGA they out there with their hats. I want to be clear. All right, you're clear. Let's go ahead.
When we look at who it is that he's kicking out of this country as people of color, when we look at who he always disrespects and says that they are low IQ, even though when you look at his cabinet, this has to be the most incompetent cabinet we have ever had in the history of this country.
Most incompetent cabinet in the history of this country. Boy, let that one sink in a little bit. Think about what has happened, what's been done.
The sad part is
the cabinet that Donald Trump has assembled, and then think about most incompetent cabinet in the history of this country.
Sad people
when we're
believe
talking
that.
about people that literally have the ability to drop bombs or order that bombs be dropped or make recommendations that bombs be dropped, and they literally don't know how to get the signal chat right. So we're talking about low.
By the way, that bomb-dropping operation she's referring to was on the Houthi rebels and was wildly effective.
IQ individuals, but so long as they say that this guy is their guy, and usually if they work for a certain news network, that's the only qualification that's necessary. I've got news for the president. I am not going anywhere. No matter how many squiggly lines they draw in the state of Texas, I will be back, and I will be on his behind and making sure the real accountability that the American people are demanding, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, or independents, that it is had when the Democrats take control of this House in the midterms.
Thank you, Jazzy.
Yeah, make sure you're held accountable too, you know.
I'm not going anywhere no matter how many squiggly lines they draw. Again, it was not reported widely yesterday. We gave it to you. The message from Greg Abbott in Texas. 4 of the 5 districts that are being redrawn, majority Hispanic. Trump did better with black men and Hispanic voters than any Republican candidate in the history of the United States. But Jazzy says he's got a problem with people of color. Okay.
Start your day right.
Good morning, America. How are you?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Go back into the farm. You can tell my feet to hit the floor. Or you can tell my lips, tell my fingertips. They won't be reaching out for you no more. Don't tell my heart, my achy, breaking heart.
The one and only.
The man.
Tell him about it, Billy Ray.
Love that guy.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton officially is seeking judicial orders declaring the Democrat offices vacant who fled to Illinois in an effort to block the redistricting vote. He wrote in a release, or a release from the Attorney General's office in Texas, said, Attorney General Ken Paxton has announced that the continued refusal to perform legislative duties by Texas House Democrats who broke quorum constitutes abandonment of office, and that he will pursue a court ruling ensuring that their seats are declared vacant. Speaker of the House, Dustin Burrows, has given members until Friday, that's 2 days from now, August 8th, to return to Texas and present themselves before the House. Any lawmaker who has not been arrested and returned or fails to appear by the deadline will be subject to aggressive legal action by the AG. Democrats have abandoned their offices. Starting Friday, any rogue lawmakers refusing to return to the House will be held accountable for vacating their office. The people of Texas elected lawmakers, not jet-setting runaways looking for headlines. If you don't show up to work, you get fired. Close quote.
And then we have a Texas U.S. Congresswoman out there, talking it up and encouraging poor behavior and inciting racism as an excuse.
So look,
and then you got a whole crew of them that just packed their bags and ran away from their job. Whoa, man, yeah.
That's the fascinating thing about this, because this was a special session called by the governor in Texas. But what is to say that this doesn't become a tactic that is used by the minority party when legislation is on the docket that they don't like?
There you go. You don't like potentially losing power, so just run off.
Well, we can't stop the vote through our votes. We can't stop the policy through our votes. Never mind that we collectively were elected by the people of the state of Texas to debate, vote, and make laws. And now that we have debated and are getting ready to vote, we're out. The only way we can keep that from going into effect is not showing up, so we're going to not show up.
Well, you had this happen back in 1870 in June, the 13th, June, where Texas senators, 13 of them, walked out of the Capitol to block a bill not giving the governor wartime powers, depriving the chamber of the two-thirds quorum required. Though the fleeing members were arrested, the bill actually passed. The Rump Senate incident, as it's known, established quorum breaking as a minority party tactic that persisted in Texas politics ever since. Apparently this is nothing new, and this is part of Texas culture. But it is. It seems to be
pretty rare, though.
Yeah, very rare. Yeah.
Pretty rare.
They've tried it in 03 and 21, notably, in each case losing. So it's not a tactic that seems to work, but yet they are definitely playing that card.
Yesterday was an interesting day for Donald Trump. He did a lot yesterday. Mostly around Washington, though. I guess all around Washington. When's the last time you saw a president of the United States on the roof of the White House just checking things out? But he did. And reporters, I guess it was on the South Lawn down below, could see him, and they began shouting questions to him from, 150, 200 feet away on the roof of the White House. And he didn't ignore them. He didn't wait. He tried to kind of engage with them. And then you also had the announcement of a United States Olympic Task Force, which, by the way, this was another poke in the eye to California's Gavin Newsom. Usually the federal government and the president play a supporting role in the Olympics. Donald Trump announced yesterday that they were just going to kind of take the lead on it, both in terms of security, promotion, ambassadorship, etc. But in the middle of this, by the way, the backdrop in which he was standing and speaking yesterday was the LA 28 logo interspersed with the presidential seal. So they had it made specifically for this. And Donald Trump was taking questions, not just about the Olympics. Peter Doocy had a question about the future of the presidency post-Donald Trump, and more specifically, the MAGA movement. Did Donald Trump clear the way for his vice president yesterday?
Trump, nice to see you got off the roof all right.
Yeah.
You said this morning that you probably won't be running for a third term. This weekend, Secretary of State Rubio said that he thought J.D. Vance would be a great nominee. You could clear the entire Republican field right now. Do you agree that the heir apparent to MAGA is J.D. Vance?
Well, I think most likely, in all fairness, he's the vice president. I think Marco is also somebody that maybe would get together with J.D. in some form. I also think we have incredible people, some of the people on the stage right here. So it's too early, obviously, to talk about it, but certainly he's doing a great job, and he would be probably favored at this point.
Not a full-throated formal endorsement, but in response to the question, he's doing a good job. He and Marco are working very well together. Could see them teaming up in the future. Is that what... so 2028, the election and presidential politics, really the race starts 18 to 24 months out? Is it a foregone conclusion that it's going to be J.D. Vance at the top of the ticket with Marco Rubio as his running mate?
Maybe we can get him, President Trump, if we put him on the spot, maybe he can tell us the favorite in our field, which will be crowded.
Yes. and maybe even more interesting.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Casey Wasserman is the chair of the L.A. Olympic Committee. And he did something really cool there yesterday. It was not Gavin Newsom that was at the White House yesterday. It was Casey Wasserman, who has been a longtime Democrat donor, has been good friends with the Clintons, but in more recent years has begun giving to the, the NRCC and the whatever the senatorial committee's called. It's been giving to Republican Senate and congressional candidates. And he presented President Trump with something yesterday during this LA 28 rollout at the White House. Pretty cool.
As you know, 1984 hosted the Olympics in Los Angeles, right. And someone we admire, President Reagan, both of us, presided over those. And you'll preside over our games. So we have for you a full set of the 84 original medals.
Wow. Can I say that I won them athletically?
Yes, sir.
That would be
It's a really, really cool gift. And I don't know if that's something that has to go on display like in the archives or a museum and say, hey, this was donated to Trump, or if he gets to keep those. You talk about something that would be cool on the bookshelf in your office. Like, if I had that for this shelf, hey, here's a full set of the medals that we gave out at the 1984 Olympics when Ronald Reagan presided over the Olympics, and you'll preside over these in the return to L.A. for LA 28. It's got the bronze, the silver, and the gold. That would be something that would be really, really cool to keep on your bookshelf. Maybe it just goes in the Trump library one day. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is that for going forward. But this president does a pretty good job of capturing the right tone in the right moment, does? I mean, he's sufficiently grateful. He is legitimately wowed by the gift, and then he comes with the one-liner. Can I say I won these athletically? Sure, Mr. President. Say whatever you want.
Yeah, the only thing that would have been better than that is if he walked over to the Qatari premier and handed him and traded him for the plane or something.
Lance.
I mean,
oh, Lance. C-Spire text line open to you this morning, 601-879-4395. Chasing Columbus. I'm interested to see the Democrats' campaign strategies going forward. Centering on abortion didn't work. 2020 was run on COVID, and soon even Orange Man Bad won't be on the table, although I'm sure Vance will be stamped as Orange Man Jr. The problem with stamping Vance as Orange Man Jr. for Democrats is that people seem to kind of like Orange Man Sr. I agree, Chase. What's the message going to be? What's the strategy going to be for Democrats?
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
Good morning to you there.
Okay, up and at 'em. Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
I feel tears welling up cold and deep inside like my heart's full of big break. And a stab of loneliness sharp and painful that I may never shake. You might say that I was taking it hard since you wrote me off with a call. But don't you wager that I'll hide in sorrow when I may lay right down and fall. Now the race is on and here comes pride in the backstretch. Heartache going to the inside.
You're in the market for a new or previously owned vehicle. I got to tell you about my friends at Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota. And when I say in the market, I don't necessarily mean today or tomorrow. Could be next week, could be next month, could be next year. The good news is Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota aren't going anywhere. They've been in the automobile business for over 100 years. And if you've had to deal with like the big automobile stores, you know that it's a very corporate feeling sometimes. That's not what you get at Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota. You get it's a feeling that feels more like family, or at least good friends. Salespeople that are going to call you by name. They're going to get to know what it is that you're looking for. They're going to try to help match you up with the price point that you are looking in. If you need financing, they're going to find the best financing rates that are available out there. They got a great selection, and then they've got service after the sale with an incredible service department. A couple of weeks ago, I had my oil change, dropped it off at the oil change, tires rotated, picked it up, good to go, ready to roll, easy as could be. And they'll take care of you in the exact same way. Good selection on the lot right now. Whether you're looking for a new F-150, Lance actually had my eye on a black F-150 Lariat. I don't think I've ever had a black truck. Well, no, my very first truck was a black truck. 1998. I don't know that I've ever been more proud of a vehicle than I was my very first, very own black Ford Ranger, extended cab, four-wheel drive. Oh, she was a beauty. Saved up my money, bought a bed liner, bought a toolbox for it. Got, what kind of tires is that? Wild Countries? I think those were the tires that I put on it at the time.
Yeah, buckshot mutters back then.
No, they
Wild
weren't
Countries.
buckshots.
Yeah,
Wild Countries
you didn't have a ton of choices.
That's right. That's right. Man, I was proud of it. So that's how long I've been a customer at Belk Ford, since 1998.
Remind me of Hank Hill on King of the Hill. He had his car guy, always bought his vehicle from the same place, same guy.
Yeah.
I mean, when it works, right?
So do I. I'm closing in on 30 years.
My grandfather was a car dealer, Chevy, Oldsmobile, and others down in McGee. And you made a living off of service, taking care of folks, and repeat business. And when you find the place you love, that's where you go, man. I mean, that's the comfort zone, you know.
How about this message? C-Spire text line. This is unsolicited. Man, I hope you told them you heard about them on SuperTalk. I just bought a 2025 Ford F450 from Belk Ford. I live south of Hattiesburg.
Hattiesburger.
Or Hattiesburger if you prefer. Thanks for doing that. And he said he saved money. In fact, he tells us that he saved a significant amount of money by making the trip. Just check them out. Like, you don't have to buy from them, but it's worth a call.
Yeah, why
Promise
not,
you they will take care of you.
Hey, another idea. You know, somebody needs to come up with a burger joint in Hattiesburg called Hattie's Burger. You know?
Somebody told us yesterday that exists. There is a Hattie's Burger.
Really? Okay. I didn't know that. Well,
I didn't either.
Cool. That's awesome. Great minds think alike.
Did you see this story yesterday? After 2 decades, as the marquee talent at SiriusXM, Howard Stern appears as signing off for good. Remember when Howard Stern was edgy, shock jock? Yeah, he was on like terrestrial radio for a really long time and got in all kinds of trouble with the FCC, but his style worked, and then SiriusXM brought him in and have been reportedly paying him $100 million a year for the last 20 years.
Yeah, you can't take it with you when you go, so you might want to take some time off to spend some of that.
Whew.
Oh, man, $100 million a year? Yeah, I don't think I'd be working either at that age. Probably go have some fun.
Well, apparently he's stepping away because he doesn't think they're going to match the salary that he wants.
Oh, yeah.
What? I mean, if they come down to $50 million, is that just a deal breaker? 71 years old now.
That ego
when Howard Stern was at his best, even if you didn't like his style, if you thought he was too crass, if you thought he was over the top, he was really good at pulling things out of interview subjects that maybe they didn't want to reveal. He was very, very gifted as an interviewer of high-profile people, whether it was politicians or
and
celebrities or
don't forget about the bubbly blondes either. He loved interviewing them.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I wasn't going to go down that route. Paul says, "What did he take home after tax?" Well, probably about half of it. Living in New York all that time, which is still $1 billion if my math is correct, and frequently my math is not correct. But I think $100 million a year for 20 years would be $2 billion. 50% federal and state combined, that's still $1 billion. I don't think he's going to starve. Thanks for being with us. Mornings with Richard Cross. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Your home. A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.